welcome. It's once again the POCONO Raceway and once again VirtualRacing.Network. But tonight we welcome the NORA Cup Series 2023, the NASCAR Next Gen Series that's a premiere on iRacing. Tonight, Season 3, Race 24 of that 2023 season. We are so happy to have you with us here as we'll be doing 18 laps in the first stage, 57 laps in the second, and 96 laps overall. Hello again, everybody. I'm Trevor Greenfield, and tonight I am joined by that familiar voice to all of you out there. He was gone last night. He was behind the wheel. But here tonight, he's in the booth. It's Christian Snyder, veteran sim racer and team owner here in the NORA Cup Series. Christian, welcome back to the booth, and let us know what we have in store tonight with the NORA Cup Series here at the legendary Tricky Triangle.
Well, if you watched last night, it is tricky indeed. A lot of cars were getting, or trucks, I should say, were getting loose. So I think we're going to see the same thing here. These Cup cars tend to be on the looser side more than the trucks. And once you get loose in these, it's hard to catch. So it's going to be a little bit tricky for these guys, but they should be able to tame it pretty easily. It's 3 corners. First one, Trenton Speedway, as you told me yesterday. Or was that Sunday? I think you told me.
Right.
Turn 2, based off of Indy, and then turn 3, Milwaukee Mile. So it's a very unique track. Kind of has 3 different tracks all grouped into one. So it should be a fun day. It's not too hot out on the track, so maybe it'll be a little bit better and not as loose as it was yesterday or Sunday. So we'll have to see.
Well, Christian, as we appreciate that intro, and as Vincent Arthur now makes his way around turn 2, the tunnel turn, and into turn 3, as you said, made for Milwaukee, perhaps you'll walk us through a lap here at Pocono. You just did it last night, so it should be pretty fresh in your mind.
Yeah, it's pretty fresh in my mind. The trucks, they didn't have to brake going into turn 1. I was watching the broadcast back, and Vincent was saying that you got to get on the brakes pretty early, but the trucks actually didn't have to brake. But the Cup cars definitely do, so you'll see him brake there at the 1 marker, get down to the yellow line. You want to try to get as close down there as you can, and then get good drive off the corner. You can see, actually, he slaps the wall, so that's not very good for Vincent. That might disallow his time. But then in turn 2, you're going to want to get as much as you can, but it's easy to overstep this corner and get into the wall. I almost did multiple times, as you see Vincent just do there. So car not handling as good as he wants, and he's going to decide to take it behind the wall and not go into turn 3. But we'll hop on board with Thompson here and see how he goes through turn 3. Typically, I like a higher entry, and I like to arc the corner. I know some people were upset with my lane last night, but I like to run right above that black line there on the bottom. I like to run above that, but as you can see, Cameron used the rumble strip down there. You got to be careful with that. If you get on it too much, it could get the car loose. But Cameron Thompson with a decent lap there. He's 3rd currently.
That was a nice lap around. Maybe you can use that rumble strip on the inside of turn 3, specifically during qualifying, but boy, that can get real dangerous during the race. You really do have to watch out.
Exactly, yeah. Last night, a couple people got loose on it throughout the race that I saw, but it wasn't too severe with the trucks because it's low horsepower with them. As we see Ronnie Norman completing his lap with that beautiful and familiar black and blue fan dual scheme. And he goes 2nd.
Well, you go back to the familiar scheme and get some familiar results. How about Justin Moody? What's he about to do here for Prestige TRD tonight? He's bringing it around turn 3 and across that start-finish stripe. Such a long start-finish straightaway, but he'll put it 3rd. That's a great qualifying effort from Moody.
Oh, speaking of great qualifying, Dustin Kleba, top of the board.
Are we surprised, though? Kleba with
absolutely not
4 wins here in the NORA Cup Series. Kind of seems to be quite familiar, but he's not always the pole sitter. Actually, as we take a look over here at Matthew George, he's just about to come around finish his qualifying lap. We'll see where that puts him.
This is a home race for Matthew George. He's a fellow Pennsylvanian like I am.
Well, it looks like he'll be starting somewhere near the top 10, at least for tonight's race. And to start the race, at least, that's a good place to be. Kulikowski tonight, once again, living dangerously. And Christian, do we have an update on whether he's fired all of the painters and just decided to get some gloss black spray and get rid of the numbers?
He should have the paint scheme that's down in the bottom right. He should have that on, but for some reason it has the black scheme. You can see that the NORA Cup Series logo is on it. So what he did was he actually uploaded the banner for NORA in the wrong position and put it in the paint scheme place instead of the contingency upload. So that's the only thing that's on the car.
Well, it looks really cool, don't get me wrong, but a little difficult to distinguish him from some of the other drivers out there. So before we go over the starting lineup, and of course, congratulations to Dustin Kleba for taking that pole position. Let's go ahead and take a look at the points as they are coming into the race here. And here you can see on your screen, Vincent Arthur still holding the lead, but after last week's performance, dropping quite a lot of that margin to Ronnie Norman. Norman now with those 2 wins here and actually so many more top 5s than Vincent Arthur's been able to do, his teammate. He's within reach of being able to catch Vincent Arthur in this regular season championship. So we'll keep an eye on that as we go along. Brady Motes, of course, in 3rd. Matthew George in 4th. And Jake Christenberry in 5th place. And pretty cool news. In fact, Jake's daughter's 9th birthday today, Christian. And so I think that means he's got to bring it home on the podium. I mean, it's pretty much a guarantee, right? Or perhaps not right. Well, we'll find out here momentarily as get some things changed around here. But fortunately, still running here in the broadcast for VirtualRacing.Network. Hopefully we got you back here. Hey, Christian, you got me?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, something going on with Discord there. But either way, we're ready to get going here momentarily. Let's go ahead and go over the owner points. Flatline Motorsports still dominating the top 2 spots. JRC in 3rd. Flatline once again in 4th. See some movement a little bit further back in the owner points, but this is starting to solidify into a flatline potential 1, 2, 3. And of course, JRC being Josh's team as well. It's kind of looking like a Josh-dominated Owners Championship, but we'll see how that finishes up here with the season. Still exciting to see where everyone can end up. Now we'll take a look at tonight's starting grid for round number 24 of the NORA Cup Series at Pocono. Starting on pole position will be Dustin Kleba. Takes a sizable pole position there. Congratulations to him. And starting in 2nd place alongside will be Brady Motes. Another great qualifying effort from the Ready to Wreck Racing driver. Of course, he was on last night as our co-commentator for the NORA Truck Series. And great to have him out there again. 2nd row will be Josh Conover of said Flatline Motorsports. And he's the top Flatline qualifier. Next to him will be Justin Moody. 3rd row, Ronnie Norman and Jacob Gladelich. 4th row, Brandon Dunford and Matthew George. 5th row, Cody Height and Chad Engel. 6th row will be Cameron Thompson and Ryan Bird. And as we flip over to the next 12 here, if you don't mind reading that off, Christian.
It's all blurry in Discord. I'm sorry, I can't.
Well, let's go with Michael Jennings. Sorry about that. We'll see what we can do about that. Next to him will be Nick Geilis. On the starting 15th will be Vincent Arthur, way back there in the field. Tom Semchek. Next to him, Dakota Moniz. and Kyle Rochelle, Jacob Malone, Adam Kulikowski, Christopher Thomas, Anthony Mackey, Jake Christenberry, and Josh Curry. That's going to be your starting order. And with that, we're underway here at Pocono.
And we're going to see possibly 3 wide going into turn 1. We see a couple cars fanning out toward the back, but up front it's two by two most of the way through the field. And it looks like Kleba going to get a good jump through turn 1 here, but still side by side for second between Conover and his teammate Ronnie Norman.
Great run there. Started off with Josh Conover making that move, and now Brady back to third, but here's Ronnie Norman trying to storm through the field already, and some of these drivers already sliding up the track. Brandon Dunford also looking good back here, just a couple of positions back, but look who's taken over into that 4th spot. That's Ronnie Norman, up a spot already. Congratulations to Stormin Norman, who's coming through the field in a hurry, and it's not usual that we see him starting so far up at the front, starting to move forward this quickly, so we'll see whether or not Steven Dombrowski is going to have something special to celebrate tonight. We also grateful to all of you joining us out there in YouTube land. Hello once again. Drift King Jacob Gladowicz checking in. Hello to you. Steven Dombrowski, the Ronnie Norman fan club, checking in as well. And Carnival 1994, big performance coming from the 77 car tonight, Christian. 77 being Michael Jennings, who is our new driver. But right now, there's a challenge for second place out here. Brady Motes and Josh Conover, and Brady Motes steals that position, puts it up into second.
I tell you what, I love the colors that Josh Conover is representing for this race. He's running Phillies colors, being that it's a race in Pennsylvania, so really cool for him to have that tonight. But I think Brady might be running off his tires a little bit too soon. He is obviously very talented and got around, I believe, Conover and Norman. So we're going to see if maybe he's going to burn up his tires a little bit too quick and Josh Conover going to work back around him. Because even running one lap at full speed can burn off your tires pretty quick. So you can see how Josh Conover is able to kind of get right on his bumper, almost sort of push him through the corner there. Now he's going to get on his inside, get him a little loose, but gets himself loose there. My goodness, he caught that one. I thought he was going around there.
Well, Christian, also a side note, Chad Engel jumping to the pits. And now he's since left the pits, so looks like some sort of incident for the new father, Chad Engel, but fortunately able to get back running again, and as long as he doesn't lose a lap, it shouldn't be too big of a problem. Josh Conover really struggling now. He got loose off the corner. There goes Ronnie Norman by.
Yeah, like I said, these cars on the looser side than the trucks, so a lot of people are going to deal with that throughout the night, especially out of turn 1 and out of turn 3. Those are going to be your trouble spots. Turn 2 is going to be more of a pushing tight situation, as we do see Ronnie Norman take over third place. And I believe last night you said that the field better be scared if Josh Conover's in the top 5 this early, because typically we don't see him up here early in the race. He usually finishes well, but doesn't typically start well. So the rest of the field better look out.
Yeah, certainly any time that Ronnie is feeling it, and it's not that often, like you said, or like I said earlier, that you see Ronnie up there so far, but it's like seeing Josh so far up there.
First caution.
We do. It's Cameron Thompson. And Thompson now getting it back together there in the 2 machine. We'll have to see what took place. It's like potential. Oh, well, we've got some real spinning going on there with Thompson. And it looks like potential contact. So let's go ahead and take a look over the top, and we'll get a better view of this one. Christian, what happened here?
We can see we're 3 wide right now, and I think Cameron clears to the outside, and Vincent just moves up the track just ever so slightly into the left rear of Cameron Thompson. They both go sliding down to the inside here. Let's see if anything happens here. Vincent kind of saves it, almost gets into, I believe that is the 49.
And
Oh,
we've got the
two
49
of
of
the
Ryan Bird and Kyle Rochelle, I believe. Also Dakota Moniz right
yeah,
there
three of
as
the
well.
Apex
So
guys.
that's some difficult stuff there for those guys. Let's see what it looked like coming through this mess. And I should bring up that Cameron Thompson is right there outside of the playoffs points-wise, and he really needs as many points as he can get. Now, tonight, the driver that he needs to beat is not in the field, so he has a chance to actually make up a lot of points. But there you can see from Kyle Rochelle's point of view what it looked like. Now we'll take a step back here and take a look from Ryan Bird's point of view. Back it up just a little bit so we get a little bit more of an advance here. And here's what Ryan Bird saw in the late Apex machine. I should say
Bird, nowhere to go.
The purple late Apex machine. Of course, they're all different colored now. So interesting stuff. Are we going to see any takers? I don't know if we're going to see any takers on pit road this early. It's only been a few laps here, but
I'm going to be interested to see if anyone tries pulling the strategy that we pulled last night. My team, what we did was we pit before the end of stage 2, and then at the beginning of stage 3, we stayed out. It was a good strategy. That's the one you're going to want to do if you want to set yourself up for a win. But if you're going to want the stage points, you're going to want to stay out before that stage end.
Absolutely. And by the way, congratulations on that. That was a well-played strategy, and in the end, it ended up netting you a 7th position overall. But of course, it had full send up there in the top 5 for much of the end of the race, in a real chance at everybody kind of being able to claim a top position. So how's it going to work out tonight? That is going to be a fun one to answer. Let's check out this special paint scheme that Jake Christenberry is running for his daughter's 9th birthday. Here we go. We can see it right up close there. Happy birthday, Melody, it says. And Melody, I hope you're having a great one. And that's really great to see, celebrating her birthday and also getting the Air Jordan in there. Or is that Melody slam dunking a basketball? Either way, congratulations, Melody, on making it to 9 years, and I hope you have a wonderful birthday out there. We hope that the Christenberry clan is doing well, and everybody's celebrating in front of the TV, rooting on Jake. He's right now in 12th position and trying to bring home a top 10 or maybe a top 5 for Melody and the rest of the crew.
Yeah, Christenberry has been good throughout the season. He's, been top 5 before. We've been waiting to see if he can break into the win column. There's plenty of guys throughout the field that still haven't gotten a win, which is absolutely surprising. It's just a matter of time before someone is a new winner here in NORA.
Yeah, we've seen lots of drivers get up into that top spot during the race, take even stage wins, etc. Would not be surprised to see someone like Brandon Dumford, who's currently sitting in 4th place out of Nightmare Motorsports. That's a team that is just overdue for a win. And then you take a look a little bit further back. How about this guy, Cody Height, on YouTube, still looking for that first win here in the NORA Cup Series. And we take a little bit further back. This is one of our newest drivers, Michael Jennings, for JRC Sim Team. I believe he's just joining tonight, if I'm correct. And
yeah, I believe he's coming over from Icon, I believe.
Absolutely, that's right. And he was also the sponsor of their most recent race, the Lymphoma 151. So great to have him and all that he does. Also, Jacob Malone, new driver that has joined us recently for Brian Powell Motorsports. these are all drivers in the top 10 that have a chance at this one. And that's not even to go over the regulars that have not yet made it into that column. We got Josh Curry back here, who's been racing all season. Cameron Thompson, Jake Christenberry, Adam Kulikowski. A lot of these guys, absolutely, you could find them up there in the front. Those late Apex drivers, you don't want to count them out either. So you could like circle half of this field as drivers that seriously could take their first win here tonight at Pocono, and of course it would always be special to do something like that. So we're just about to kick this one back off again. Dustin Kleba steps on that loud pedal, and we're going again here at Pocono.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a checkup on the outside lane. It looked like Josh Conover went a little bit early and hit Brady Motes and had to check up, but they're able to keep it all sorted. As we got 2, maybe 3 wide here. No, back to 2 there. Dustin Kleba, though, great start there. Brady Motes, he's going to get that draft down this Long Pond straightaway, as well as Ronnie Norman, so it's going to be interesting to see if the draft is as effective as it was last night. So we see on back there, it looked like, I think that's done for 3 wide with Malone, and oh, man.
Wow, everybody keeps it going, though. That was quite a job of saving it there for Malone. He found himself sideways there a moment ago as he made contact with several cars. But he keeps it going somehow, and they remain racing side by side. Did you notice that, like, he went and he bounced off a wall, and just almost immediately after that, he's back to racing and going side by side with somebody?
Yeah, typically, you know, it takes a couple of corners to get back into the groove of things, but he went right into the next corner and passed somebody, so clearly he doesn't need the multiple laps to get back into the groove. But we see some aggressive side drafting here out of Christenberry on the 77 of Jennings there. And he's going to take that spot now.
Christenberry trying to get some extra positions for Melody, now up into that top 10. Gaining 15 positions already. He's feeling it out there, Christian. But like you said, you got to possibly conserve those tires a little bit over the length of the run. And right now, he's having a hard race side by side. I'm sure out there in YouTube land, we've got Megan Beadle and the rest of the Christenberry gang out there rooting on Dad Jake as the Attica, Indiana driver trying to take it through the top 10, right now sitting in 9th place. Back up front, though, no problems for Kleba, except maybe momentary packet loss, as he seems to be disappearing off our screen and coming back. But right behind, that's Brady Motes, ready to wreck racing. And you know who had the fastest sector one time that time, Christian? It was actually back in 5th place. It's this guy, Cody Height on YouTube, who's putting down some fast laps and trying to claw in these top 4 of Conover, Norman, Motes, and Kleba.
Yeah, he was one of the guys last night that I thought I might have to battle for a win. Every time I was around him, he had a similar handle to the truck and was really good last night. Kind of surprised he didn't get the finish that he deserved there. But again tonight, 2 nights in a row, he's in the top 5 up here.
Well, he's back in that scheme that he had on Sunday night. Last night he was racing for Shell Rotella, and tonight he's racing for Castrol GTX, so seems to really like the motorsports lubricants. But right now, doing a fabulous job bringing it forward. Here's Conover about to challenge his teammate, Ronnie Norman, as they race side by side. Conover once again getting a little loose coming off of turn 3.
Yeah, you got to kind of treat the gas pedal like you have an egg underneath it whenever you're coming out of turn 3 there, because it does get real loose real easily. So especially whenever you're underneath another car, because you're turning the wheel more to keep it off the guy on the outside. So typically whenever you see too wide in turn 3, the car on the inside will get looser.
You know, Christian, I actually saw something pretty interesting earlier this afternoon. Normally when I look on Discord, you can see what people are up to, what kind of games they're playing, etc. Usually I look at Josh Conover and I see him playing MLB or perhaps another game, and not necessarily in the iRacing simulator, but this afternoon he was in the iRacing simulator every single time I looked, and I just wonder if he wasn't trying to really get in tune with tonight, get in sync, and really practice up, get ready for this Cup race. I mean, he's just got, he's got that natural talent that I'm sure he probably only needs 5 laps of practice and he's in the zone. But I appreciate that commitment and getting out there and getting some early practice laps in even before the official practice opens.
Yeah, he could have very well been practicing this morning. Typically, he's not the type to do that, so I think more like it. I think he was reviewing last night's race on iRacing, but I mean, he could have turned a few laps because he's looking good out there so far.
Well, I just noticed he qualified so well tonight, and typically it's been him and Ronnie, qualify. I mean, usually Vincent Arthur's the guy who's qualifying for Flatline right up on the front row. That didn't happen tonight. And seeing Josh kind of qualifying right up there in the top 5, it's not a common thing that we see, but then again, Pocono being one of those very familiar tracks, certainly not a surprise to see some skilled veterans up there in the qualifying order. Here we go. Justin Moody and Ryan Bird racing this one out. Bird just taking that position away. Bird's dropped 4 positions from where he started. You saw it earlier, he had that issue, and Moody dropping down 13 positions. So these two racing it out right now for 16th place on the track.
Yeah, we got a couple races throughout the field right now. We see 2 wide here with Christopher Thomas and the 54. Christopher Thomas, obviously one of my drivers, so hopefully he has a good night. He hasn't had the best of luck so far this season for me in that 91, so cheering him on and hoping that he gets a good finish.
Well, and I've since the first time that we saw this paint scheme, this is just one of the coolest paint schemes of the whole field. And I just love the way that it's multicolored. It works against the black and everything else. It's just it's so unique and so much fun to see it out there every single race. And Thomas right now doing a bang-up job, holding down the fort just outside the top 10. Of course, just up in front, about a 1.6 seconds in front, Kyle Rochelle, and he's racing for late Apex. He's the red late Apex car with the metallic there in the background, but Rochelle, one of those late Apex drivers joining mid-season, and as we mentioned, looking for his first win as well, sitting in 10th place. Just ahead, Jake Christenberry. He's having a good race right now, currently in the top 10, up 14 spots in 9th. And as this one starts to stretch out here, we're seeing a lot of single file starting to finally happen through the field. Now, the top 4 still close together, but Christian, do you know what color the flag is that's in Barney's hands right now?
That would be green, Trevor, I believe.
And you know how many laps it's been out there? I can't even believe it. I was pretty sure he was going to be dressed in mustard like he's been for the last several nights, but this has been pretty interesting here, staying green for this long. Brady Moats, Ronnie Norman, and Josh Conover, and it looks like Josh still trying to make it work. And I believe that's our first stage caution of the night, so we're going to regroup. Dustin Kleba, so far taking all the marbles and able to take that stage win. Brady Moats in second, Ronnie Norman in third, Josh Conover in fourth, and Cody Height in fifth place. That's how they ran through the first stage. We're going to regroup them, send them back out there. You'll be watching the pit stops on your screen. We're going to take a momentary break here on... And welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network. And we're so pleased to be joined by the father of the birthday girl out there in YouTube land, Melody, as she's celebrating her 9th birthday. And Jake Christenberry now joining us in the booth for a little discussion. Hey, Jake, this is Trevor Greenfield. You got me?
I got you.
Hey, man, great racing so far. You managed to gain a whole bunch of positions. How's it feeling out there? What are you thinking about tonight's race?
I feel pretty good. Honestly, it got a little slick there later in the run. I wasn't expecting that. Yeah, we gained a few spots there. That caution definitely helped. A few cars had to pit, but I'm pretty excited. Pocono is one of my favorite tracks, so hopefully we can hang in and at least get a top 5 tonight. That'd be nice.
Definitely, you're out there with that special paint job. We heard, of course, over here from Megan Beadle and Emily Christenberry. They're all rooting you on, and I'm sure Melody's out there as well. Anything special that you want to impart to Melody while you're on air?
Yeah, we just like to wish her happy birthday again. She's turned 9 years old today, so hope she had a great day, and hopefully I can get it done for her tonight.
Well, we hope so too, and we'll be watching for you out there. Good luck with the rest of the night. We'll talk to you after this race, my friend.
Thank you.
So that's Jake Christenberry driving that number 23 machine. Brings his own fan club each and every race to the NORA Cup Series. We always appreciate that, and certainly would be a night to remember for young Melody if Jake was able to bring it home on that podium. But Christian, story at the front, Brady Motes able to get to wrestle that lead away from Dustin Kleba there on pit road. That's quite the feat to be able to get a better pit stop done.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that he's up in the lead. He was in the booth last night to learn some things. Maybe he learned a few things from me, maybe. I don't know. But I know Ronnie messaged me after the race, and he was like, "You got to tell me your secrets, man." No, but I'm not surprised to see these two up here. Has Brady gets a pretty good start, but Dustin Kleba, man, I think he's one of the best drivers in the field at restarts.
Wow.
Whether he's in the lead or in second, because he's already right there on the bumper of Brady going into turn 1.
And he just out-dragged Ronnie Norman down the front straightaway as well, so he knows something about shifting and getting everything going as fast. Unfortunately, it'd be nice if he had a degree in IT, because looks like he's bouncing in and out of network there. But either way, hopefully he can get his cell phone internet to start working a little bit better at some point. We got some more side-by-side back here. That's Jacob Malone and Cody Height racing side-by-side. That is for 5th position. Kleba able to hold on there just in front of Ronnie Norman back up front. And now you see Ronnie under attack once again from his teammate Josh Conover. Just behind that is Malone and Height trying to battle out for 5th. And now Gladelich up into that 6th position.
Yeah, don't sleep on Gladelich tonight, because last night he got that top 3 finish. It seems like he's got a good feel for Pocono. I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the top 3 again.
And Christian, we've been kind of talking about it off and on. It is very helpful, regardless of whether they're trucks or they're cup cars, to be able to get out here. Some of these drivers, of course, running in Icon also here on the VirtualRacing.Network. You see Christenberry split in the middle there and coming through in 8th place, but we've got a yellow right now. Kulikowski, Thompson, and a number of others caught up in this one, and this looks like a big one.
It indeed does, and that is a lot of damage to Cameron Thompson. And this is unfortunate for him, because he's in that playoff battle to try to get in. So he needs as many points as he can get, but that front end looks a little shorter than normal.
Well, we'll take a look here at Thompson and see if we can figure out what took place here. Comes through the corner. Oh, wow. Kulikowski coming off the high side and just pulls it right down into Thompson.
Yeah, I think he saw that Moody got into the wall and then kind of overreacted to it and turned down way too far, and then that's what he saw here. As you'll see, he sees him get into the wall, turns left, and it just, whenever you turn harder to the left in turn two, it likes to get loose, especially if you're off the throttle. So that's probably what happened there.
And certainly, you know, it's only inches in the cockpit, but really it's one of those things that inches equal a foot when you when everything is outside the car, and it seems quite obvious when you're outside the car, but it's sort of like, oh, maybe I'll come down a little bit further is what you're thinking. Let's see from Thompson's point of view exactly what he saw. So we back it up here, give ourselves a little bit more replay time. Wow, just caught in the middle there. Absolutely nowhere to go. And Thompson, I mean, this guy kind of seems snake bit here at Pocono tonight. He's just trying to get some points. I mean, he's literally just trying to get some points, and he's getting caught in the middle of these wrecks. So we'll take a look also from Chad Engel's point of view. Once again, following behind all of this mess here. Engel brings it down on the low side.
Yeah, he had a really good run into the corner, and then just as soon as Kulikowski came down, it hit Cameron Thompson into Chad and turned him up the track. So, and he's 3 laps down, so he's just trying to stay in that lucky dog spot and get his lap back.
And the final driver caught in this mess, of course, Justin Moody, who was up in front and gets into the wall and then goes from bad to worse as more drivers join the wall party. And everybody's crashing at that point. I suppose Cameron probably ready for one of those stoners by now.
Yeah, you know, I joined that wall party last night in turn 2. It was not fun. I don't recommend it.
A lot of drivers joining that party. It's been interesting to watch how many drivers have scraped that wall, either off of turn 3 or off of turn 1. Very common. Turn 2, shockingly easy if you don't plan for doing a late apex in turn 2. If you do an early apex, and especially on worn tires, it is so easy to push up on exit of 2. There's just no flexibility whatsoever.
Yeah, if you go for an early turn in and you miss that corner a little bit and you have to check up and go a little bit higher, you're going into the wall. There's no saving it unless you like jam on the brakes and whatever you have to do to slow it down, because the momentum going into the corner is just too strong. So usually you gotta lift early for that corner and then late apex it, and that's the best way to run through turn 2.
It's a real skill. This track is, I mean, every oval course, you're going to approach it with a certain amount of feel and a certain amount of, you know, personal type preference in how you want to go through the corner. Do you want to be a touch earlier on the gas? You might have to do something a little different with the coast phase or the liftoff phase. It just depends what your personal preference is or how you like to manage your tires. But Pocono, it's named the Tricky Triangle, and it really earns that because each one of these 3 corners is very different, and there's none of these is really that similar even to its real life counterpart. And so you really do have to approach each corner with respect for that particular corner. And I guess those who walk away from this track as winners really do deserve it, as it is something to stay out here and try and be fast and then take the win at the end.
Yeah, win at Pocono has been eluding me my entire iRacing, I don't know if you want to call it career, but my iRacing tenure. Haven't been able to get a win here at Pocono. You know, back in the old console days, I was able to win here, but man, it is a different animal behind the wheel within iRacing.
Yeah, it's okay. You can call it a career. Sure, why not? We all like to think of ourselves as we would have been good enough to go out there and race in real life, but
Absolutely.
we're just sort of, you know, this is our side thing that we do, sim racing for a while. Anyway, Brady Moats, Ronnie Norman going to lead this one back to the green flag on lap number 26 or 27. We're green again here at Pocono.
Oh, 3 wide already here. Malone jumping to the inside of Ronnie Norman. This is an aggressive move by Jacob Malone. See if it works out here in turn 1.
3 wide they are. It now forms to 2 wide. Great run from Malone through. Still side by side for Conover and Norman. I think Conover's managed to negotiate that outside lane, and as a result, he's going to stay in the lead of those two. So Conover still in 4th. Well, we got somebody really high there on the track.
Yeah, Gladowich missed the corner a little bit and had to take a really high line. He's going to lose the spot to Vincent Arthur, which we saw him get into the wall in qualifying, which put him far back in the field. So already 27 laps into this race, and he's making a challenge for the top 5 here soon.
Dustin Kleba and Brady Moats still now battling it out for the top spot, but Brady doing a fantastic job of holding off Kleba, at least for the first lap. Malone now solidly into 3rd. And Conover holding his own there in 4th over his teammate Ronnie Norman in 5th. And hey, Christian, who's this guy? Is he... Did Vincent seriously come 9 positions all the way up into 6 already?
Yeah, I'm not surprised that he's already up here. He should be a top 3 car by the end of the night. He's typically good at this track. I think he's won here before in NORA. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to ask him. But yeah, he's, we just talked about it, that these guys could be racing in real life. They're good enough. This is one of those guys. I'm sure he'll get his time soon and be behind the wheel of a real car out there.
Well, that would certainly be very exciting to watch happen, and would not be the first time. Of course, with the Gran Turismo movie coming out, a lot of people talking about drivers going from simulators into real-life cars, and is it possible? And I obviously that's the future, as most of the real-life NASCAR, Formula One, IndyCar stars they not only race on the engine manufacturer simulators, but they at home are part of iRacing, as we've got a challenge now for the lead. Dustin Kleba to the inside of Brady Moats in turn 3.
Yeah, and Brady's going to be able to hold that easily because that outside, it holds the momentum down the front stretch there. And now with Malone being side by side with Kleba, that's going to help Brady pull away from these guys because the air is being broken up with these two being side by side. So we're going to see Josh Conover probably get a run here out of turn 1 as Malone gets a little loose. Catches it, but here comes that run that I told you about with Josh Conover. He's going to go to the outside and clear Malone, and now Ronnie Norman also getting a run off the outside.
Oh,
and we have a caution.
And they make a little bit of contact. Norman just barely able to get it back together. Right now it's Josh Curry who's made contact, and he's dropped down to the bottom lane here between, I believe that's turn 1 and turn 2. So let's back it up and see what happened with Curry. We can see he's already part way spinning there as he's coming through turn number 1.
My goodness, if this is what I think it is, that was a wild ride here. Gets a little tap and then just never catches it after that.
Wow,
I think he dove
there.
Yeah, he dove into the corner a little early and had to correct, and when he did, he slid up in front of, I believe that was Dunford, and then went around, and Nick Gillis nowhere to go in that Pittsburgh Pirate scheme. So unfortunate there for Gillis.
Well, and we now also with the Philadelphia Phillies on his nose over at Conover's camp. We've got two baseball rivals going at each other. Would love to see those two cars racing against each other. But Curry, watch this. As he's going through the corner, he's got to do all kinds of corrections. But then this is not what you want to see on the racetrack. A, yourself backwards, and B, staring down the grill of another car.
Yeah, I think a good way to avoid that for future, if Curry goes back and watches and see what he could do differently. Whenever you're that far sideways in these cars, it's always better just to lock up the brakes and let the car finish its spin instead of hooking it back to the right. Because the more you turn this car to the right, it's just going to do this and snap. So for future reference, he might be able to lock it up and maybe save his night and not get as much damage.
Definitely a lot to learn about these cars and how temperamental they are. Look at all of these cars coming down into pit road. It's all led by Ronnie Norman out of that fourth position. Everyone else in front choosing to stay out there. So we got the top 9 choosing to stay out. And Norman now out of that group, now pulling out. Cody Height, Ryan Bird, Matthew George. So many now here on pit road. And just a very quick splash and go for Ronnie Norman. No tires. No tires for Cody Height. In fact, pretty much everybody deciding to take no tires. Not sure if Ryan Bird took right sides because his time in the box was 9.95 seconds. But everyone else choosing to just take fuel.
Yeah, and somebody was giving an Austin Powers impression there, backing up and hitting pit road wall a couple times there. For those who know what I'm talking about,
The 85
I might be
the 85-point turnabout.
uh,
Yes, indeed.
some of the viewers might be too young for that movie.
Now you're really dating me. That still seems like newer Mike Myers than what I mean, my Mike Myers was Saturday Night Live and Wayne's World.
Yep.
But here we go. Josh Conover now choosing the low lane along with Jacob Malone. He'll drag him forward. So Conover going from basically fourth before that caution. Now he's going to be restarting in second on the inside. We'll have to see whether or not Kleba can hold that outside lane right behind Brady Motes.
Well, if he does what he did earlier, I think Kleba will have no issue holding that outside. Like I said, he's one of the best guys on restarts. Whether he's in the back of the field or in the front, he knows when to go. I think it's because if I'm not mistaken, he has a live spotter that can tell him exactly when that leader throttles up. That way, he can get a fantastic start.
Well, that is a beautiful thing to have, and certainly a real luxury if you have a friend out there who can do live spotting for you. But you can if you have a good team on Discord or TeamSpeak, sometimes you can call that out for each other and let you know, hey, leader's going. But certainly to have that live spotter, be able to call out what's happening, who's approaching, all of those sorts of things. No AI bot's going to be able to replace that anytime soon. Brady Motes, your leader, Josh Conover, going to be starting on the inside. And this is going to be an exciting restart as we're now on lap 33. Be restarting on lap number 34. And, of course, we'll be going to lap 57 for that first stage. Or for that second stage.
This is going to be stretching it on these guys' fuel tanks for stage 2. And that's why we saw Josh Conover down on the apron saving fuel, making sure that the fuel goes to the pickup. It's a good saving strategy to run at the flat part of the track. So we'll have to see if Josh Conover has a little bit more fuel than everybody else here after saving fuel there.
Well, here we go. About ready. Fire this one back up again. Motes gets going. Kleba right behind. What a great restart once again for Kleba. And Josh Conover has no choice but to tuck back inside of Kleba as they head down towards turn 1. They march into turn 1. Still that same order, but still side by side behind between Chad Engel who's recovered from that earlier incident, now sitting in 8th spot, and he's racing side by side with Christopher Thomas of Full Send Motorsports and Ronnie Norman.
Yeah, like I said earlier, Chad had that great run into the corner. It looks like he's got a pretty good car tonight, so now he's up inside that top 10 with, I believe, fresh tires. He might have stayed out, but a good run for the 88 here tonight.
Engel came in last on lap 24, and he served, I think that was the lap where he had that incident, because it says that he had 52 seconds in the box and a minute 32 on pit lane. So definitely taking some repairs there. But Brady Motes doing a great job at the front of this one. Now a couple laps since this restart. Just behind, that's Malone and Conover racing for third spot. Conover comes heavy off the wall, almost makes contact with Malone. Malone forced to drift back, and now look who's up into fourth place.
Yeah, Malone almost got into Vincent Arthur there, and again right there. He thought he was clear behind Conover, went to turn right, and Vincent was there, so luckily that wasn't a caution. And now Vincent gonna roll the outside around Jacob Malone here. So you'll see the run that he gets, and especially if these guys stay up on the outside, he's gonna get that draft and just pull ahead of Malone here. And you'll see Malone tuck in line here to try to get the draft, but you can see how effective it is for Vincent Arthur, already gapping him by 1 car length going into the corner. It looks like Malone driving it a little bit harder into the corner than everyone else, so that's going to wear off the tires. And that's the problem there, getting tight. You drive it so hard into the corner, you get tight off.
Malone flirting with disaster back there, getting tight through the corner, that dirty air up in front. You got to mitigate for that. You've got to plan around that, certainly through the tunnel turn. That could be absolute disaster if you don't plan for that dirty air. So you'll pick up that push and just put you right up there into the wall. But these drivers finally starting to settle down a little bit and form single file here as Vincent Arthur at the tail end of this 4-car train for first place. A little bit further back, got some side-by-side racing. This is Nick Geilis and Dakota Moniz racing side-by-side. This is for 11th spot, and there in the middle, that's actually Jake Christenberry. He's trying to work back through the field. He's now in 12th position. Good runs for these guys.
Yeah, and surprised to see Nick Geilis where he is, because if you remember, he was involved in that wreck a couple laps ago. So clearly not enough damage to hinder him. So good run there for Geilis.
Bringing that Pittsburgh Pirates machine forward. Always exciting to see these new schemes. Nightmare Motorsports, one of those teams that frequently, almost every single race, is bringing out new paint schemes. And as I said, always exciting to see that. It would be certainly pretty cool to see Geilis up there racing with Conover, but we still have time for that as well.
Yeah, and I believe the sponsor for his car as well is also a Pennsylvania sponsor, PPG, as we see Jacob Malone got into the wall again. I believe that's off of turn 1.
Indeed, Malone continuing to struggle with that machine. And yeah, it's so cool to see PPG featured. Of course, they've been a big part of the IndyCar series over the years as well. And Pennsylvania not really getting its due, and the Northeast not really getting its due for IndyCar fans, I tell you that much. I'd love to see them be able to return back to the Northeast. But Brady Motes just about to get under attack from Dustin Kleba. Kleba sends it down the inside, down this long straightaway. And it looks like he's going to be able to do it. He's going to pull ahead here. I do wonder, though, if Brady Motes realizes he's going to be a little bit shy on fuel and he might want to ride around behind Kleba for a little bit, save some fuel.
Well, Kleba put him in a position there where Motes was kind of, he kind of had to do that because Kleba drove it hard into the corner to try to slide up in front of him. And I think maybe Brady tried to set up a crossover but wasn't able to, as now we see Vincent Arthur pull out of line underneath his teammate and team owner Josh Conover. as well as Malone underneath Conover now. Oh, that got tight there. And now Conover going to have a little bit of a run here, but we'll see with Malone goes with Conover, so he's going to push him back by Vincent Arthur here into turn 1.
So, a little bit of swap of positions here. Malone able to recover. Arthur slides back. And now we're seeing Gladelich also possibly under attack back here as well. And I think I saw Cody Height. Maybe he's just snaking there trying to break the draft, but looked like he got really loose coming off of that corner. Just up in front, though, Norman trying to chase down Jacob Gladelich for position.
That was 2 laps in a row that that actually happened to Cody, so he's starting to struggle off of turn 1 on those old tires. I don't think he got the wall, but that 1722 car is looking pretty good out there, but it's also looking pretty loose. As now we see Ronnie, look at this draft, how effective it is. He gets behind his teammate and just pushes him completely past Jacob Malone there.
Well, he manages... There it looks like he gets up into the wall.
Oh, we got one around. I think that's Rochelle.
Rochelle starting to fall down through the field and indeed sitting backwards. Now gets that car going again. The late Apex driver, well, he had a
Maybe he had help?
It looks like it starts to get a little loose on his own.
I think it starts to get loose here, and then Christenberry, nowhere to go, just kind of maybe gets into him here. No? I think he kept it off of him.
I do think he kept it off of him, and that's the same thing that we saw earlier. The car started to go in turn 1, and it just never corrected out. Now, as you said, you want to just slam on the brakes a little bit, but if you got somebody right behind you, you can't necessarily exactly do that.
Yeah, and he did lock up the brakes after there was no one behind him, and it actually whipped it around into the wall. So, I mean, as a driver behind the wheel, the hardest thing is whenever you lose control of the car, you have to have in your head, okay, how do I keep this car off of the wall and away from everybody else? And, you know, it's possible that you can gas it up to keep it off the wall. But if there's people coming behind you, you might not want to do that. So it's kind of a split-second decision of how do I keep my car the cleanest since I've lost control of this.
I always think the mark of a professional is how he covers up for his mistakes. And definitely, you know, just mitigating disaster. I mean, the difference in a learned reflex or you know, a way that you figure out how to deal with potential issues is it could mean just maybe losing maybe one spot on the track or 2 spots on the track versus crashing, doing damage, needing time on pit road. I mean, it's just as valuable to learn how to get yourself out of disaster as it is to avoid the disaster completely. But Dustin Kleba going to lead everybody down pit road. No fakery here. As you said, it might have been a little tight for them to make it to the end of stage number 2.
Yeah, a little bit tight, and what these guys could do, I don't think they'll be able to. I think we still got a little bit too far. But they could make it one stop from here, theoretically. You know, I think there's about 50 laps left, and it's about 25 on fuel, so it's going to be tight to make it a 2-stop or 1-stop. I think the majority of the field will have 2 stops remaining. Definitely those who stayed out, if there were any that stayed out, will have to make 2 stops.
So some real strategery to play out here at Pocono. We're going to take a momentary break. We'll be right back with lots more green flag action. Stay tuned. Welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network. I'm Trevor Greenfield, joined here in the booth. We're about almost halfway through this one here. I'm joined here by Christian Snyder. And Christian, some different names up here in the front. We got Ronnie Norman, Jake Christenberry, Cody Hyde, Anthony Mackie. They've all decided not to take tires. And currently they're our top four. But you also notice that Dustin Kleba's back here in 11th place to restart.
Yeah, I think Ronnie watched last night and saw me get into the lead by staying out, so he's mirroring me. But yeah, Kleba, he takes 4 tires, so what he's gonna do here, he's gonna run this rest of the stage kind of easily, and then when the stage ends, he's gonna stay out, and then try to take the lead that way because he knows everyone will have to pit at least one more time. So if he's in the lead, he can dictate when those pit stops start.
Well, this is pretty awesome. We're halfway through here, not quite done with the second stage, but so much strategy playing out. And we've got a poll going over in the YouTube chat room. Who's going to win tonight's race? Make sure to vote. But right now, Ronnie Norman, one of those who's mentioned in that poll, and he's taking a solid lead here on this restart.
And me and you were talking while we were away on break. What Ronnie needs right now is just clean air. So he needs those guys behind him to just keep battling. And the longer that he's out front, the better that car is going to be. Clean air was absolutely everything last night, and I'm sure it's the same here tonight. So these guys in traffic are significantly tighter than Ronnie is right now. So he's able to control that car so much better because there's no break in the air for him.
Well, Anthony Mackie now back here trying to run the inside line. You see just behind him, Ryan Bird has flown forward into the top 10. He's currently perched in 7th place, now going to try to take 6th.
Yeah, Kleba made an aggressive move down and cut him off there. Almost made contact with him. It was so close. But Kleba not saving his tires. He's going up for 8th place now.
Oh man, Bird and Kleba, that would be one heck of a race to watch happen for the lead should we get a chance to see that. But these are two of the brightest stars here. They're relatively new to the NORA series this season, but great to see them battling it out here in the mid-pack. And wow, Ronnie Norman getting way up there.
Yeah, that was a very close moment. I think that was actually Matthew George.
I believe it was actually Anthony Mackie in the 54. I just got his blue and black confused there with Ronnie Norman. But there, Anthony Mackie able to recover. And on the inside, that's Tom Senchek, who's now sending it down the inside.
I do think that blue and black is the most popular in this league. I mean, you look, there's probably, I'd say, 5 or 6 cars that use blue and black.
It seems to go in waves. Sometimes it's like red and black. Sometimes it's like, predominantly black is the color choice. Sometimes you get a bunch of white paint schemes. Right now, blue and black, the favored way to go. But Christenberry now sliding out of that second position and sliding backwards as he just got loose coming off the corner. And now he's following behind Vincent Arthur. We've got a yellow here. I think it's Guileless who's had a moment. Dakota Moniz, it's saying, having a moment as well. So here's Moniz. Oh, Moniz still sitting sideways on the track. Gets it going again for late Apex. And let's take a look at what happened. Here's Moniz in the middle. Looks like this may have started a little bit before them, but he gets ping-pong between 2 cars. Malone, he gets into Malone on the
Angle
outside.
underneath him.
Angle and Malone ping-ponging the 05 there, but let's see if we can back it up a little bit further, and we'll see if we can tell exactly where this one started. There is a lot of contact happening here. You can even see contact right there between those drivers.
That's
Matthew George. And that would be, that's not Kyle Rochelle.
That's Mackie.
Mackie, indeed, in that 54. So let's see if we can roll this one forward from above and Tell me what's going on here.
Well, you see that contact, that's going to get Matthew George loose and Mackey loose, and then Moniz, I believe, is going to check up and go low to get around these guys. So you can see Mackey still saving his car here. And Chad Engle's got another amazing run into turn 2. He goes low to correct it here.
Poor Chad Engel getting punished for these good runs that he's getting through corners.
And you can see Gladelich, too, with a great run. And he's going to make it almost 4 wide here. And Chad Engel starts coming back up the track, and Moniz doesn't move. And then a little bit of a netcode situation, maybe.
Oh, wow.
Either that or it was Moniz that turned right to try to avoid Engel coming up, and it just snapped around. But they didn't make contact, so interesting to see who will be at fault or if it'll just be an iRacing racing deal. But Moniz head first into the wall after that.
Yeah, and Moniz was able to get back around and get into the pits. Let's take a look from on board here, and this is going to be a pretty heavy hit here in just a second. Can't believe how long it takes for this to develop, but there he's sideways. Gets pushed up near into the fence.
It did look like he turned the wheel right, and that's when it got loose. So I don't think they ever made contact, and I don't even think it was a netcode thing. I think he just saw Chad Engel on that left side of his vision there, coming up the track, and made an aggressive turn to the right to avoid it. But you can see Chad, he's just going to slowly drift up the track here to get a good entry into turn 1, and yeah. No damage for Chad, but Moniz gets a little bit of damage out of that one.
And poor Malone getting caught in the middle of this one. He's just holding the outside here, not really doing anything wrong. Though you do see a slow up coming up just in front, so he would have had to take some sort of evasive action. I'm not sure what was. I think that was because Mackey had just made contact with George. And then it definitely sounds like something is wrong with that machine.
Yeah, he's got a toe broke in the right front. You can see it bouncing uncontrollably. That right front is not attached very well, so he'll have to bring it down to pit road, get the guys to take the tire off and put a new one on, and maybe fix the toe link while they're in there.
Well, good news. I believe he was able to get in and off of pit road. So we see Engel able to get in, Malone, Cameron Thompson, Justin Moody, Dakota Moniz, Jacob Malone, Justin Moody, Cameron Thompson, all these drivers coming in and off of pit road. Back up at the front, Ronnie Norman, about to lead us back to the green flag over in the YouTube chat room. Once again, want to thank everybody for joining us. If you're not already a subscriber, I know many of you are, but also like 50% of the watchers here on VirtualRacing.Network, you're just finding us randomly through the YouTube algorithm. So make sure to hit subscribe. We've got NORA Cup Series action all the way through the playoffs. We got the NORA Truck Series. They're just about to start the playoffs. And of course, the brand new Icon Cup Series just headed into the 4th race of the season. That's on Sunday nights. You'll catch all of it right here on VirtualRacing.Network. And also, if you want to smash that like button if you're enjoying what you're seeing, we'd appreciate it. Helps to get broadcasts out there a little bit further so more people can just randomly find it popping up on their dash when they pull up YouTube. But hey, in YouTube, so great to have so many from the Kristen Berry gang joining, and Emily Kristen Berry saying, "Let's go, Kristen Berry." Boosted Yodi, hope I'm saying that right, 13. Kristen Berry, Riley Beetle, you got this, Kristen Berry. Everybody, seemingly in the entire Kristen Berry family, joining us here, VirtualRacing.Network. Great to have y'all with us. And right now, Ronnie Norman is doing a fabulous job up in the front of this one. Now taking the lead once again as we get this one underway on lap 51. We're just a few laps away from the end of this stage. Lap 57 will be the end of this stage. Cody Height under attack there from Josh Conover. And there's Jake Christenberry, the man of the hour, back in 4th place, trying to race and get a win for Melody. Vincent Arthur now on the inside, and this is still very tight 2x2 action from 3rd place on back. Norman kind of weaving there off of the corner.
Yeah, he was going low to try to break the draft a little bit on that short shoot. That way Cody doesn't get a run into turn 1. I'm sure you'll see it again as they come off of turn 3. You'll see Ronnie duck low. Maybe not. He's going to let Cody kind of draft up to him. I don't know about this decision here as we see a big block Conover. My goodness.
And
he pulled out a line there and lost the draft and then pulled back up into it. You could see how significant the draft was working for Christenberry. And now Kleba, out of nowhere seemingly, goes around Christenberry and now is challenging Conover for 3rd.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Conover threw the block on Christenberry, and as a result, now he's going to get tag teamed as he heads through turn number 2. So he does, in fact, he gets passed by both Kleba and Christenberry in the span of 1 corner. Now he's under attack back here from Brady Moats.
And Conover still on those old tires, so he's just trying to survive at this point to try to get a few, well, he's not running for stage points, but now he drops low again, and now he's going to come back up high, so I'm not sure what he's exactly doing. Maybe he's pulling low to give Matthew George a little bit of the draft, because I did see Matthew George pretty low back behind them, but still Norman holding this lead over Cody Height, and now Kleba, he's going to dive low on Cody Height and have the inside preferred line in turn 2.
Kleba dives to the inside. Cody Height has to stay high. He'll try to slot in just behind, but there's no room as Christenberry's there. Christenberry now to the inside. He'll take 3rd position, and now look for Brady Moats down low on the track. He's going to send it hard into turn 3, and he'll take that position right in front of Jake Christenberry. Christenberry all over the place. He's in the wall and into Vincent Arthur.
No caution, though. We are going to stay green, so these guys got to avoid these 2 slow cars here. Yeah, he got loose, and now he just gets absolutely punted there by, I think that was the 45 of Adam Kulikowski. So it went from great to oh no to terrible for Christenberry in a span of 1 straightaway.
Well, and here's some more news. Here comes Ronnie Norman. Here comes Dustin Kleba on Ronnie Norman. He'll now take that position headed into turn 2. This is becoming a regular thing for Kleba. And look who's hot on his heels. That's Brady Moats. Now getting around Cody Height as well. Brady
tires must mean more for the Cup Series because these guys with new tires are coming through this field very quick as we see Brady and Cody Height make contact there, and that's going to allow Cody Height to have the draft down the front stretch and hold on to the 3rd position over Brady.
So Moats now into that 4th spot. Conover in 5th. Sizable gap now from Kleba back to Norman and then back to Height. You see Moats now in a battle with Height, and just behind that, Senchek and Conover. We're trying to hold on to their positions. That's Senchek, who's now made that move around Height.
I tell you what, going too wide through turn 2, that was the worst thing for me last night. It's not fun, especially being on the outside. So basically, whoever's on your inside, you might as well give them that position because it is treacherous on the outside in turn 2.
Indeed, that's the thing that got Robert Wickens. Kind of plays through your mind. There just is not a lot of room to go side by side through turn 2. And especially if somebody is going to hold strong through that corner and they push up a little bit, there is just not a lot of room on the outside. But right now they're making it work. Dustin Kleba in front of Ronnie Norman. Brady Moats in 3rd. Tom Senchek for Late Apex Racing has emerged up in 4th along with his teammate at Late Apex. That's Kyle Rochelle now in your top 5. Cody Height on YouTube drifting back tonight into 6th. Josh Conover in 7th. Ryan Bird, and here's a challenge, Conover on height.
Yeah, with Conover running that bottom, he's not going to have the draft. He's going to just have to pull in line behind Cody Height here.
And that'll be...
we have the stage finish.
Indeed it was. That's Kleba who's going to take the stage win over Norman, Moats, Senchek, and Rochelle, who sneak up into that top 5 there on those last couple of laps. So we're going to take a momentary break. We're going to catch our breath after such exciting green flag racing and so much position swapping. And we're going to see if we can grab somebody to talk to here as we come back out of the break. So grab your favorite beverage from the fridge, and we'll be right back here momentarily. And welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network. And it was an exciting first part of this race, but now coming into the last third of it and the final stage, we were joined here in the booth by none other than last night's pit reporter and tonight's star of these two stages, Brady Moats. Hey, Brady, doing a great job out there, currently running in 5th place. How's it feeling to you?
It's feeling decent, trending loose for me personally. I know a lot of people are complaining of it being tight, but personally, me loose, especially on exit. But I mean, it's feeling good. I'm just trying to hang in here with Dustin and see if I can learn something.
What's the recipe to getting that win tonight?
I mean, just save tire and maintain right here. It's looking like we're probably having a long green flag run. Obviously, I had to take gas only there because I took tires earlier. So kind of, if we go green here, might have put myself in the bin on that one. But I mean, hey, maybe we'll have a caution and we can, come down, get tires and be able to split it.
Well, it's a good thing you paid attention so closely to Christian Snyder's strategy last night. He really taught you some things that are good. So good luck with the end of this race, and we'll look forward to talking to you afterwards, my friend.
I appreciate it. Thank y'all.
So that's Brady Moats for Ready to Wreck Racing, owner of Ready to Wreck Racing, and currently running in 5th place. He's been having a good race so far. We'll see whether or not he can manage to steal the show out there tonight. But he's got to come through some pretty good cars out there. We've got Cameron Thompson, who's definitely pulled a card out of your deck, Christian. He stayed out there for Harper Motorsports, and he needs those points. Now he's going to lead the race for the first time.
And unfortunately, with NORA, leading laps isn't a bonus point, but we got a wreck in the back.
We got a big wreck back here. That's Chad Engel. And we see Vincent Arthur caught in that one. Christenberry possibly as well. But Engel just getting it going. So let's watch this one from the green flag when it dropped. Chad Engel kind of sitting back a little bit. I'm not sure if he gets caught in this mess with somebody else. This is from the green flag. He's a ways back here from he just loses it and punches the side of Christenberry. I don't even know what to say about that one, Christian.
If you jump on board in his cockpit, I think I know what happened.
Miss a shift?
That would be a money shift right there. That is downshifting instead of upshifting right there.
All right. Well, let's see how much fun this one is. So it's all going to plan at this point. Oh. You know what happened there? Wife came in and handed him the baby and said, "It's time for you to change the diaper."
Yeah, he was really far back away from the field too, so that could have been a situation where somebody walked into the room. But yeah, that's definitely a money shift. You saw the RPMs go bright red and over 10,000, and you never want that for your engine. So, and then Christenberry just nowhere to go here because it slowed him so quick and jolted him to the right. So Jake Christenberry, nothing he could do there.
Now, this is also going to be a problem for Vincent Arthur, and this guy, he's been desperately seeking a win, yes, but desperately seeking to stay out of other people's incidents. He just barely avoids that one.
Yeah, I don't know why everybody was like so far back. I know NORA has a rule that you are not allowed laying back on restarts, so there were about like 4 or 5 cars just not caught up to the field for that restart. But someone that worked out for is Cameron Thompson.
Well, indeed, Thompson out there in front. Senchek in second. Thompson up 10 positions. Senchek up 14. And Senchek actually leads that group who came down into the pits on lap number 58. So he did, in fact, take 4 tires. Interestingly, Kleba did not take tires. I think we talked about it, and Kleba was already out of tires, so he I believe he's done for tires for the night, but that would be an interesting turn of events. Rochelle did take 4 tires. Brady Moats did not take any tires. Gladelich taking tires, and the rest of the field pretty much taking tires. So, once again, tires going to be a factor here. They were not as much of a factor Sunday night with the Icon Series, and they certainly weren't that big of a deal last night in the Truck Series for NORA. But here tonight, it does look like that could be actually a factor as we now take a look at the temperature on track. 97 degrees, 11 mile per hour breeze. At the end of the straightaway, you might feel an 11 mile per hour breeze. Just kind of move that car around a little bit, but it's not the 16, 18 miles an hour we sometimes see here in these NORA races.
Yeah, wind can affect you very slightly. You know, if you lift off the throttle and your car wants to go a certain way, the wind is going to push you that way. So that's why typically we see whenever people lift off the throttle, it kind of jolts to the left a little bit because the wind gets underneath the car because you're lifting the engine up essentially, or actually pushing it down, I should say. So that's the only way I see wind affecting it. Maybe making it loose off of the corner too, like Brady was talking about as well.
Well, this is going to be another shot here for Thompson to haul in those points that he needs to get into the playoffs for the NORA Cup Series here at the end of the season. Of course, Senchek also looking for a win to punch his ticket. Brady Moats looking for a win as well. Certainly Dustin Klepa would like to add to that stack of NORA win trophies over in his closet. And we're going to watch and see here how they control it. Perhaps we'll get another one of those long green flag runs, and then we'll get a chance to see it all play out. Who is on that best strategy? We've got, when we come back to the green flag, we're going to have about 31 laps to go until the end of this race. So anybody making their moves right now and betting the whole farm on one particular strategy, they may get caught out before the end of this one.
Yeah, I'm not sure which strategy is going to work because we do know that everyone's got to pit again, and everyone still has a set of tires, or at least one set of tires, left in the pit box. So whether you want to use them or not will be interesting to decide, because there is a possibility if it stays green, you could make a fuel-only stop and save about 10 seconds out on track. As we are green again here, Cameron Thompson with a phenomenal restart, but again, Kleba just lights out right there, and he's going to catch him by turn 1 here. Look for Kleba to make a move pretty early here. He's going to arc the corner and get a huge run. And, Cameron kind of cut down a little bit to try to pinch him off, and Kleba's going to have to check up and get behind him. But I think Kleba has newer tires than Cameron, so he's going to just easily get around him as soon as he can.
Well, Kleba's going to try to make another attempt here, headed into turn 3. As we watch on from our drone camera, Brady Moats also trying to make that third position, and he does. He gets Senchek there for third. So move Kleba up into first and Moats into third. And right now we're seeing a couple of drivers have some internet issues back here. I believe that's Kyle Rochelle popping in and out at the moment, so it's kind of filtering through the field. But right now, it's all about Dustin Kleba. He's managed to take that position away, and he's back in control of this race here at Pocono. You see Conover once again in the midst of everything. If there's ever one car that pulls out and tries to make a pass, it's that blue Phillies machine of Conover.
Yeah, you see his teammate Gladelich behind him, but up in front of him, Christopher Thomas in the top 10 for the first time tonight. So good run for Christopher at the moment.
Absolutely great run for him. Here's Moats and Senchek were just battling a moment ago. Now here comes Moats. He's going to make that move on Thompson. Moats has got the car tonight that I think he's been waiting for here, and he did sure learn a lot last night doing the field reporting for us here on VirtualRacing.Network. But he's figured some stuff out about this NASCAR Next Gen machine. Moats looks ready to try to take victory possibly here tonight. He's still got to get through Thompson, and he's still got to get up to Kleba before Kleba takes off. Speaking of which, Kleba that time setting the fastest Sector 2 time of the race. And now Moats taking the high line and kind of falling back as Semchek going to take the line underneath him.
Yeah, sometimes using the outside lane is better because you're going to get a huge run off the corner and you're going to get the draft from Cameron Thompson. So you can see how much he's closing in here. He's going to dive low. I don't think he's going to be able to make this work because Cameron Thompson, all he has to do is just kind of pinch him off and run his line. And it's so hard to pass here. The only way you can typically pass is when two cars are side by side ahead of you and you get a huge draft going into turn one. And then also backing up the corner and using the draft as well, as we saw Brady try to do, but he didn't get enough of a run.
Well, he's rolling now. Brady Moats trying to hold off Kyle Rochelle, but here comes Rochelle down to the inside, and is Moats going to get that run? It looks like Rochelle really blinking in and out now, but is Rochelle going to get that run coming off of turn 3? Is it going to be Brady Moats? Boy, having a lot of blinking problems over there at the Rochelle farm. It's always tricky when your internet's cutting in and out like that, because what you see on your screen is the inverse of what we're seeing, which is the whole field disappearing and coming back in, disappearing, coming back in. And sometimes what you're seeing is the car up in front, the prediction code will in effect make those cars up in front crash, bounce all over the place. It can be downright terrifying when you have these types of connection issues, and certainly sometimes you experience it when you're racing with international drivers, just the difference in the connection speed to the servers, etc. You'll be racing with them and frequently have this same kind of a problem. See a driver way in the back coming down the track there. I'm not sure if that was, I think that was Mackey. In fact, it was coming off the corner all the way down the inside of the track. Manages to get it back going again. There's Gladilich. And just behind him, this is a side-by-side battle happening. As you were talking about, Christopher Thomas for Full Send Motorsports. Now, looks like Brandon Dunford coming forward, leading a small train, including Ryan Bird. Saw Dakota Moniz pulling down to the inside there. And wow, Thompson getting absolutely swamped there by a couple of different drivers. And now looks like Christenberry going to try his hand at potentially taking on Thomas as well.
Yeah, and Cody Height was able to take advantage of that, and he's now in the top 10 there in the 22. He is trying to work his way through the front. He's one of those guys that likes to save his tires. I think it was Vincent last night said you kind of see two different ideas going into this track. It's either push it as hard as you can, being that it's a pretty short race, or you lay back and save tires for the long run. And Cody Height, one of those that is saving their tires right now, is Jake Christenberry gives a little tap to the 91 there going into the corner, letting him know he's there.
Well, all kinds of games being played over this track, but the game that Dustin Kleba is playing is to just set sail off the front of this field. Currently opening up almost a full second on Cameron Thompson, and we saw it a little while ago. Cameron Thompson was just holding off Brady Moats, who's now fallen behind Tom Senchek. But Cameron Thompson has been able to hold his own there in second. Now, how much longer will he be able to hold off this number 26 of Senchek, who has come up 13 positions so far tonight?
Kleba's far enough ahead that Cameron's not getting his dirty air, so it's basically like he's out in the lead right now. but it looks like Senchek going to have a good run through turn 2 and try to side draft him into 3 here. And yeah, he gets a really good run into 3. He's going to try sliding up in front of Cameron. He's going to clear him.
The old slide job works again, does not give Cameron a chance to get that nose back in there and try and run the outside line, get that run off of the corner. But you see, that opens up the door to Brady Moats to make a move down to the inside, and he'll now try Cameron Thompson on the inside coming through the corner with Kyle Rochelle just behind as well. And there is Ronnie Norman back in the thick of it in 6th place, and his teammate and good friend back there, Josh Conover, just making an appearance outside of the top 5 right now, coming forward. Here's Brady Moats, though. Brady still looking to get around Cameron Thompson, but sitting right now in 4th. And there's a move from Ronnie Norman, trying to get around Kyle Rochelle. We've got a yellow flag for Christopher Thomas. Full Send Motorsports driver sitting backwards now. That car still looks good. Front ways, back ways, doesn't matter. It's a nice looking paint job. But
someone else had issues there too. You could see some smoke ahead of Christopher Thomas, so we'll have to see what happens to him and whoever else gets collected here.
Well, I have to say, potentially there might have been some contact from the 23 machine. Not sure, but we're going to take a look here as we go through the corner very slowly. Oh, it looks like perhaps Thomas clipped maybe the apex and slid up a little bit. Maybe Kristen Berry not quite expecting it, getting a normal run off of the corner. I'm not sure that he did make contact, or if he did, it was a little bit of net code, because Kristen Berry kind of tried to take evasive action coming up, and then looks like Thomas making contact with another driver there.
I believe that was Moniz in the 05.
Yeah. And that puts Thomas backwards there. So let's see if we can find out what this one was like more in real time here as we roll forward.
Yeah, you can see he just touches the apron and it gets loose on him here, and it just goes around, and he turns it back to the right, and you could see the tire smoke immediately. As soon as he turned back to the right, it locked up the tires and sent him into a basically 4-wheel slide to the outside. And Moniz would nowhere to go because he had already chose that outside to try to get around him, expecting Christopher to maybe go to the inside. You know, whenever you're behind a car that's getting loose, you got to make that decision, and sometimes it works and sometimes it does not.
Well, we'll take another look at this one from Moniz's point of view. Definitely one of those things that you see something happening in front. There's not a lot of time to react no matter what, even if you want to try to drive up the track. It's just nowhere to go.
Yeah, you can see he pulled a half a lane down off the wall, and that just happened to be where Christopher Thomas came back up.
Well, everybody's on pit road, and Cody Hyde is going to lead him off that time. I don't think he took tires, 9.67 seconds. Not 100% sure.
Sounds like 2 tires.
Two
possibly.
tires, maybe. Ryan Bird also joining in that 9.55 seconds, so that's going to move Bird up into 2nd position. But I guess Kleba did have another set to take. That's going to be his final set of the night. And so he'll take a full set of tires. Senchek at Late Apex Racing, he's going to take a full set of tires. That'll put him into 4th. And Brady Moats comes out in 5th with favorites Ronnie Norman and Josh Conover. Ronnie Norman coming out in 7th. Josh Conover in 11th, and Jake Christenberry in 12th. And by the way, in case you're keeping an eye on where Matthew George is as we're coming close to 20 to go, he's sitting just outside the top 10 in 13th place. Just about what you would expect to see, and pretty soon you might see him emerge up in the top 5 before too long. But Cody Height, Ryan Bird taking a play out of your book, Christian, and not taking on tires, just taking on some fuel. And they're good to go. They're going to go out there, have that track position at the front.
Well, I believe they did take tires. They took 2 tires on the right side. So
okay,
these guys will have somewhat newer right side tires, but left sides are going to be older. You can definitely get right sides on in about 9 seconds. It takes about, I think, 13 for a 4-tire stop, maybe 14 seconds. So I believe they took 2.
So they took 2 tires. Is that the ultimate strategy that wins the race for Cody Height or Ryan Bird or Dustin Kleba by taking that choose cone with his 4 brand new tires? He's going to start in second on the inside. Is that the magic recipe? As we're just about hit 20 to go here on VirtualRacing.Network, and of course, you know what that means. It's going to be the 20 to go segment presented by Snyder Graphics, facebook.com/Snyder Graphics. The guy that you need if you need some paint on your car or your truck or your super late model or your Indy car, whatever you're cooking with over there in your iRacing world, send it over to Snyder Graphics, proud sponsor of the 20 to go segment here on VirtualRacing.Network. And that's actually, well, that's you, Christian, and you're doing a great job. It is. That's you, in fact. And you do a great job painting some of these vehicles out there. We were just talking about, I mean, he may have had a problem earlier, but Christopher Thomas sure looked sharp having that problem.
And as well, 7th place there, Ronnie Norman rocking one of my schemes too. So, I make a few schemes for these guys, and they run them pretty well as we are back underway. And Cody Height with a great launch. He's going to pull ahead. And Kleba, the first time he chose the inside, he doesn't get as good of a run as he would have on the outside. Now he's going to cut off Ryan Bird there so that he has a good entry into turn 1.
And now Bird and Senchek, teammates for late Apex, racing side by side. Brady Moats looking on in 5th place at probably hoping those 2 late Apexers take each other out and he doesn't get caught in the middle of that one. But now Moats going to force the issue on the outside of Senchek. Moats pulls ahead through the tunnel turn, and that's a gutsy move, but Moats makes it work. He manages to take that position away from Senchek.
Yeah, those 4 tires, if you get up on the outside, you have a lot more grip than you would with old tires, and now you're going to see them use the draft to catch up to Kleba and Cody, as Kleba is going to make a run here underneath Cody Height into turn 1. He's going to have to send it off in there.
Side by side they go, but he does try the slide move up, and boy, he just seems to know how to send it in so deep. But there, Height going to get the run back off. We see some 3 wide racing also a little bit further back in the pack. Height not able to get as big of a run. And the Harper Motorsports driver now going to have to settle for thinking about 2nd place perhaps. We got some side-by-side heavy racing, though, between Senchek and Moats. And Senchek gets into Moats. Or perhaps Moats wipes himself across the front of Senchek, and that will bring out the yellow flag. Rough go of it there for Moats, who was racing so well and now is all the way back in 21st position. That is not going to make driver out of Alberta, Alabama very happy. Let's take a look here at what happened to Moats just a moment ago as they were coming through the corner. And Christian, this is just 2 drivers trying to occupy the same place on the track at the same time. Actually, I think this is a little bit too far back. Let's see if we can get to a different camera angle. Here we go.
Yeah, he just starts coming down ever so slightly, and I think Senchek was going up the track at the same time and just met in the middle there, and unfortunately it ends with Brady Moats head first into the inside wall.
Well, it's something that you hope it doesn't happen this way, but Senchek does drift up on the track, and I don't know. tempted to say that's Senchek. He comes up the track a bit. Maybe Moats did come down, but it's pretty clear that he started drifting up the track before he was entirely clear of Moats.
Yeah, it was pretty significant the way that Brady comes down. So they kind of met in the middle. If you ride on board, you'll see that black line. Keep an eye on that. He goes underneath it here, coming off the corner. Right about here, he'll start turning down toward that black line, and then boom, around he goes.
Well, again, we're not here to pass judgment on who's at fault here, so both drivers caught up in that one, and perhaps some damage sustained by Senchek, but certainly a lot of damage to his race by Moats, and perhaps a little bit of damage as well to that car. 17 laps to go. We'll be getting back to green flag here momentarily. You're watching round number 24 of the NORA Cup Series live here on VirtualRacing.Network, and we'll be right back here with lots more green flag action to the finish. Stay tuned. And welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network as we're getting set for the finale here for round number 24 of the NORA Cup Series at POCONO. This has been one heck of a race so far. We've seen so many different names emerge in the top 5, and right now it is looking like Dustin Kleba's race to win or lose, as he's had the car to beat out here, but Kyle Rochelle from Late Apex Racing has now emerged at the front as well, up 17 spots. Ronnie Norman for the Steven Dombrowski Ronnie Norman fan club out there in YouTube land, he's emerged into third. And Cody Height on YouTube is right up there as well. He could give a shot at this one. Ryan Bird, Josh Conover, Tom Senchek, Brandon Dunford for Nightmare Motorsports now up there, and Jake Christenberry racing for Melody out there for her 9th birthday is also in this top 10. So we've got a lot of drivers that might be able to give a shot at this one before the end, but they're all going to have to go through Dustin Kleba, and he has been practically unstoppable on these restarts.
Well, something I'm worried about, the two people that have been blinking throughout the night are Dustin Kleba and Rochelle. And they're on the front row, so if they happen to blink out on the restart, the guys behind them won't have a good start, so we'll have to see here as Kleba pulls away. Good start by Kleba. Not too great of a start by Rochelle, but I think it's going to be good enough that he can defend Cody Height here. Josh Conover jumps to the outside there behind him.
Height with an awesome run, though, manages to get by on the outside, or does he, as Rochelle keeps it pinned down there to the low side, and in fact, Height does manage to pull that off. Conover, as you said, sneaks that position there into 4th, and Ronnie Norman in 5th at the moment, which is ironically where he qualified. And now it gets to be pretty much single file through the field. I think we had momentary contact back there. I think it was Matthew George who had a moment, but now racing side by side with Nick Geilis for 12th. Back up in front, though, it's stacking up again. Cody Height, Josh Conover, now possibly going to be battling it out for 3rd. Though here battling for 2nd is Kyle Rochelle, and now it's Conover who gets by Rochelle. And this is starting to turn into quite the battle here for this top 5.
Yeah, Conover had a significant draft going down the straightaway, and he could choose either inside or outside there. He chose outside to push Cody Height by, and now he's underneath Cody Height here for 2nd place as he goes into turn 2.
Conover down to the low side, and Height pushes way up the track. That's going to allow both Rochelle and Conover to pretty much try to get through. Conover goes to the low side as they enter the corner. They go 3 wide. Rochelle in the middle. Here comes Ronnie Norman trying to push into the low side as well and get by Rochelle. And Rochelle gets turned by his teammate, Tom Senchek. They drop back. No caution comes out. And now these two are going to have to figure out how to get back up to the front. But that's exactly what you would have wanted to see if you were Conover or Height. Unfortunate for those two late Apex teammates getting into each other there.
Yeah, Conover just trying to figure out how to get around Cody Height here. Ronnie Norman going to clear Ryan Bird for 4th place there. But Conover, you can see him up ahead. He was on Cody Height's bumper going into turn 2, trying to make him make a mistake. But Cody Height, kind of a smooth driver, doesn't make mistakes typically. So Conover now, he's going to get underneath him, and he's going to take that spot. He had a good enough run coming out of turn 2.
Conover
and is now in 2nd.
He did, in fact, steal that spot. He's now up into 2nd. Height going to get a good run, though. Coming down the straightaway, is he just going to keep that thing pinned behind Conover and try and push him up into the lead? We've had some movement further back. I think one of the drivers having some trouble. It's Jacob Gladelich dropping back a little bit, just behind Anthony Mackie at the moment.
Yeah, it was Anthony Mackie that got into the wall and everyone spread out to avoid him. But with Cody Height, the best decision that he can make is just push Conover, because if he doesn't, Kleba's just going to walk away with this thing. So they need to work together on every straightaway that they can to try to catch up to Kleba.
Well, Height now pushing heavily onto the backside of Conover. We're going to have to see if they can push their way up to the front. Of course, they got Ronnie Norman in tow as well, and if Height is able to play this game well, he's going to be making some good friends over at Flatline Motorsports if they can form a 3-way draft and be able to get up there and catch Kleba, give Norman or Conover a chance at a win. That'll certainly also give Height that same chance. Save their actual scrapping for the last 5 laps or so, but Kleba jumping out to a huge lead. We've got a problem back here. Numerous cars getting into it. There's Geilis. I think Mackie involved. Thomas involved. Take it back. That was Cameron Thompson, the blue and black machine there. Blue and white machine involved in that one. Geilis also getting swept up as well. So we'll do what we do best here on VirtualRacing.Network, and we'll review the incident. Thomas, once again, caught up in the middle of one of these difficult incidents. Let's see what happened to Thomas here as he comes through the corner. Oh. Nowhere to go
for him.
That's Geilis and Thompson having the incident ahead.
Yeah, Geilis was the first one. It looked like maybe he got into the wall, and then Cameron had nowhere to go and gets into him here. We'll have to see. Vincent Arthur just pushes in the corner and wipes out Geilis.
You know,
I don't know if he didn't think he was there or if he just got significantly tight and lost control.
I was watching a moment ago and thinking, wow, he's got a long ways to go, does Vincent Arthur, and very short time to get there. But no, I mean, I'm pretty sure he was aware. He just must have drifted up the track. Unfortunate for all of those drivers involved, and we'll watch here from Guylis's point of view.
Oh, well, now from that view, it looked like Guylis maybe got a little bit loose and came down as well. Like, he could have been higher, but he got loose and comes down the track. You can see it from this point of view right here from Cameron Thompson. He gets a little loose, comes down, and yeah. So it all depends on the view. You know, the different aspects of the camera, you can see certain people at fault. So I think that's just a incident where Vincent was getting tight while Nick was getting loose and met in the middle again.
Well, we talk about poor Cameron Thompson also. How many incidents has this guy been caught up in? And of course, just behind Christopher Thomas, kind of a passenger in that one as well. But looks like quite a few of the drivers coming down. Everybody from 11th now on back. Conover, Cody Height coming down onto pit lane. Justin Moody, Jacob Gladelich, Cameron Thompson. You have to assume that they're going to be all taking at least right side tires. Looks like Conover taking left sides as well. It's just going to be Cody Height back out onto the track. And Tom Semchek is going to be just behind. So we'll have about 8 laps to go. Actually, 7 laps to go when we come back to the green. We'll take another momentary break, and we'll be right back here on VirtualRacing.Network. We're closing in on the end of this one. Should be a pretty fun shootout to the end. Stay tuned. And welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network. So much happening while we were at break. Christian, let's fill everybody in on what's going on.
Well, the front, I think it was 10, stayed out, and somehow, I don't know why, everyone who was in the top 8 chose the outside lane. So Chad Angle comes from 10th the whole way to the now front row, and Josh Conover, who took 4 tires, is now second on that inside line. So these tires, we've seen tonight so far that the tires do matter. Unlike last night and on Sunday, we saw, Kleba run through the field on new tires versus old tires. So we'll see. I think Josh Conover right now in the best position, as well as Cody Height behind him.
Well, Conover getting a great choice there on that choose cone. And it looks like I thought he was going to be restarting in third. I guess he is going to be restarting in third. So, great choice for him. And as a result, with those fresh tires, you might say he's the favorite. But again, we just don't know. With the clean air out in front, with Kleba, maybe the idea is to attack early and try and get that position away from Kleba. But we're going to find out here with everyone else in YouTube. Oh, and Engel gets a terrible restart, backs up into Josh Conover, and Conover not able to get that jump. Here he comes into one, but he can't get the run. It's Ronnie Norman who's on the outside. Stormin' Ronnie Norman going to move into second position and going to try to take the victory away from Dustin Kleba. Or is this one already done and dusted, Christian?
Oh, I don't think we're done. They are 3 wide here back in the field. It's really tight back there with Cody Height and Senchek, so I think there's going to maybe be some. I mean, they were practically dooring each other the entire Long Pond straightaway. And now we see them kind of calm down here, but Dunford gets loose going into the corner. He saves it.
Just barely.
This is getting wild out here. These guys have fresh tires with old tires in front of them. Some of them trying to push their way through the field. And up front, Ronnie Norman and Kleba pulling away here from the guys with 4 fresh tires behind them. So now we see Chad Engel drifting up the track there in 5th place. I will say this is a good call by Chad Engel. You know, he's going to finish better than where he would have if he didn't stay out. So good call by Chad. He's just got to hold off as many cars as he can here with about 6 to go. Oh, contact. Cody Height into Vincent Arthur.
Height into Arthur, and Arthur goes around. My goodness me, what this guy has been through tonight. Has not been focused too much out there. Dakota Moniz also in this one gets turned around. And we've got just 5 to go, so we're going to get the green-white checkered as we get this one restarted. Let's check it out here as Arthur was just right in the middle of this 6-car sandwich. Christian, you've been in situations like this. You never want to really be going through like turn 2. It's this stacked up, but what do we see here?
Oh, Vincent has to check up there for Rochelle, who was kind of drifting down the track. He burped the throttle a little bit, and Cody Height gets into the back of him there, sends him around, and then Moniz gets collected as well.
So here's Moniz running a little bit further back, and looks like Kulikowski's paint job getting fixed there, no problem. Thanks Trading Paints for eventually deciding to show it correctly.
Oh, that immediately broke that left rear tire. You'll see when he pulls away here, that car is going to be shaking violently. Yeah, that left rear not doing too good there. Not as violent as the earlier incident, but you can definitely see that it's shaking a little bit.
Moniz coming through this incident. A little bit of Days of Thunder and head for the smoke. Unfortunately, it comes back to bite Moniz. And we'll take one more look at it from Vincent's point of view as he now heads to pit lane. Avoids Rochelle, but nothing he could do as he checks up. Gets punted from behind. Cody Height, perhaps a good view to take a look at this one from as well.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Cody Height, he's going to get the penalty to go to the rear of the field for causing an accident. So those 4 tires now are going to have to do a little bit more work. He's got to come through the field.
Well, again, those are the ones where it's the same in official racing. You pick up the 4X, and it just feels like a punishment for, doing something that there's nothing you can really do to avoid it. But things check up in front, and, it's like the insurance companies say, if you hit the car in front, you're at fault. So it's either way, Arthur did what he needed to do to check up for Rochelle. Height not quite able to do so for Arthur, and as a result, Height going to have to do the EOL thing and start again. Looks like he's back in 16th at the moment. I don't know if that's as far back as he's going to go. Thomas, making a pit stop. Brady Moats also on pit road, making a pit stop. Now, Moats still on that lead lap as well. Moniz, I think, is going to stay on the lead lap, so that's good news for him. In fact, Thompson still sitting on pit road, taking on repairs, so I think he's going to be the first car a lap down if he can get back out there before we go back to green. But Ryan Bird taking the choose cone, and he's now going to be starting next to Kleba. So we've seen just about everybody get a chance to try to tackle Kleba on these restarts. You got to wonder, has the phenom Ryan Bird got something for Kleba on this next restart?
It's possible. We haven't seen anyone make the inside lane work yet, but we have seen the guy in second on the outside make it work, make these restarts work. So curious to see how Ronnie does riding behind Kleba here.
Well, this is going to be a very interesting green-white checkered. Of course, the way this works, I'm sure many of you know, but we do have to get entirely through the green flag lap and onto the white lap in order for this race to count, should a yellow be thrown. But if we do not make it through the green lap, we'll get up to 3 total chances, so 2 more chances after the first one to try to get it right, and we'll get 3 total chances at a green-white checkered. So, Christian, do you think with this caution, are we already going to be seeing some of these drivers having trouble with fuel, or is that no longer an issue for anybody?
It depends on how people fuel their cars. I know it was an issue for me last night because I did the auto fill, to get as much fuel as you need to make it to the end of the race. But whenever the green-white checkered comes out, that fuel situation, it doesn't account for extra laps added on to the race. So these guys might be short. They might have enough to make it those 2 laps. We'll have to see.
Well, in tonight's poll, we, of course, had Melody Christenberry's dad, Ronnie Norman, Dustin Kleba, and Brady Moats up for choices on who's going to win tonight. The favorite, of course, was Jake Christenberry, but Ronnie Norman in second place, 42%, and Dustin Kleba coming home with 14% of the votes. Who's it going to be tonight? Kleba's going to lead it back to the green, and Bird does not get the magical jump that he needed. Ronnie Norman blinking out, though, and now coming back in. So Norman having a little bit of issues with his connection, holding on in third. Bird still able to hold that car into second. And can we get through this green flag lap and get this one to be official? Still so much racing action back here. Christenberry caught up in the middle of that pack as well. Side by side for second place with Norman and Bird as they approach the tunnel turn.
Ronnie going to drive it in deep there in the tunnel turn. He's going to have to check up on exit. That's going to allow Bird to get even with him and allow Josh to get a run on Norman now. And now you see Josh, he's going to back up the corner, and he's going to have an excellent run down the front stretch here. As now it looks like Dunford trying to get underneath. I believe that's Senchek. As we go white flag, so this one is official. Next flag will end this race.
Well, the race is on for second place right now as Norman holds that car in front. His good friend, Josh Conover, and teammate in second place. Kind of forming wingman, or will he go for that second? He's not holding back. Here comes Josh Conover.
Norman got into the wall coming off of turn 1, and that caused him to check up. And now Senchek going to push him by Conover. And with Senchek on the outside of Conover, it's going to be a battle to the line here. This is going to be interesting here because we got people battling the whole way to top 8 right now. Here they come through the final corner.
Down the final stretch they come here at Pocono Raceway. Our final lap of our triple header here on VirtualRacing.Network. And Dustin Kleba adds to his total trophies, making it 5 here in the NORA Cup Series. And would you believe that final lap of the race, Dustin Kleba sets the fastest lap of the race at a 53.51. What a way to bring it home in style. Kleba, your winner here in round number 24. Ronnie Norman in second. Tom Senchek in third. Ryan Bird in 4th, and Josh Conover taking 5th spot. Congratulations to those drivers, and especially congratulations to Kleba, who was the class of the show tonight. We're going to take a momentary break here and get the final results pulled up and get our final podium position drivers into our NORA Cup Series post-race chat group. So we'll be right back here in just a moment. We'll get a chance to talk with those podium drivers. Stay tuned. And welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network. You saw it live here. It was a fantastic race all the way through. Dustin Kleba, though, the class of the field, somehow, once again tonight, being basically unmatched in his ability to hold everyone off. Fantastic win going to Kleba once again, the victor here in the NORA Cup Series. Second place going to Storm and Ronnie Norman. Came forward 3 positions tonight to claim that second place, and he held off all of the drivers that were trying to challenge him there at the end. And Tom Senchek for Late Apex Racing, it's not a win, but it's a third, and he continues to add to that total points that he's able to take here. Fourth going to Ryan Bird. Fifth to Josh Conover. Sixth, Brandon Dunford for Nightmare Motorsports. Good finish for him. Michael Jennings for the JRC Sim team, and he also races with Collar City Racing, and I know that he's also over on Twitch, so you can look for him over there in the future if you want to watch on board with Michael Jennings and possibly rewatch this race. Jake Christenberry tonight did everything he could, having that special paint scheme for his daughter's 9th birthday for Melody, but bringing it home in the top 10. It's better than 9th. He got 8th, and that's certainly a good run for Jake and way to stick it out over the long run. Jacob Gladelich taking 9th. Cody Height, once again, the Harper Motorsports driver, the top driver from Harper tonight. He was up there fighting for the top spot, but caught up a little bit in that incident, and that set him back and recovered to 10th place. Vincent Arthur finishing just behind him. Again, an action-filled night for Vincent Arthur. Sadly, though, not adding to even that top 5 total on his points. And Ronnie Norman, with his finish here tonight, he's going to actually gain some more points on Vincent Arthur. Not always the way he wants to do it, but he'll take him where he can get him. Christopher Thomas in 12th, Brady Motes in 13th, Kyle Rochelle in 14th, Anthony Mackie in 15th, Chad Engel 16th, Justin Moody in 17th place, Dakota Moniz in 18th, Matthew George in 19th, Adam Kulikowski in 20th, Cameron Thompson 21st, Nick Geilis 22nd, Josh Curry in 23rd, and Jacob Malone will take the final spot there in 24th. Really difficult night for Malone, of course, as well. And so with that, we now get a chance to chat with our top 3 of the night. And that, of course, will first be Tom Senchek, who finished in 3rd place here tonight. Congratulations, Tom. A great run once again for you guys over at Late Apex. A couple of drivers up from the top 5. Looked like a difficult night and a lot of side-by-side racing. Again, congrats on that 3rd place.
Yeah, plenty of side-by-side racing. I want to apologize. I think me and Brady got into a little something. Like, I was watching the replay before I came in here. He came off the wall just a little bit. I came up the side, drafted him a little bit. I think we got tangled a little bit there, and unfortunately I cost him a good spot right there. But like I said, I think it was a racing incident. I don't think either of us were trying to do anything. But yeah, it was sketchy. I wish it would have went green there a little bit there at the end. I think it would have been a pretty cool race once everybody got spread out and you could kind of see who's got the speed and what. But it was always side by side because the restarts right there, so it was kind of difficult to gauge the speeds of everybody. Obviously, except Dustin. He was ran the fastest lap there on the last lap, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was exciting to watch all of you drivers out there, late Apex teammates, all in the middle of it, from Rochelle to Bird to yourself as well. And yet, nobody seemed to have anything for that guy, Kleba. Were you guys talking about that on the team radio? Were you talking about how maybe you could gang up and get up there in the top 5 and challenge up the front?
I think there was one point where I was catching him, but I think I had like 2 lap pressure tires because of the pits. Once I got into second place, I started reeling him in a little bit. Reeling him in is one thing, but passing on this track is something different. But like I said, I would like to see what I had for him if it went green and it wasn't a green-white checker there at the end and we had maybe like 4 or 5 laps, see what we could do. But passing him would have been difficult. Catching him with the draft would have been a little bit easier said than done, though.
Well, an awesome night no matter what, gaining 13 spots and leading your team here with this finish up into 3rd. Anybody you'd like to thank before we roll on with the broadcast?
No, yeah, thank you guys for. I can't wait to watch the broadcast later. I'm sure it's gonna be great. Thanks to Late Apex. We bumped and bang a little bit. We're still teammates in the end, and just thanks to everybody in the race for running clean. And yeah, it was a fun race. It was a frustrating race, but it was a fun race. So shout out to the whole league.
Well, it was fun. Definitely from our standpoint, it was fun watching. I can imagine it's kind of white knuckles there when you're in such close quarters. But Tom, look forward to seeing you out there for the rest of these races and giving us some more to enjoy here. We're watching it on the screen 3 wide as you were racing with some great company out there. But good luck with the rest of the season, my friend, and congratulations again on 3rd place.
Thank you, guys. I'll see you next week.
That is Tom Senchek. What a fantastic run by him, and just really difficult tonight to get up there and even try to challenge those top drivers. But hey, I'll tell you one guy who was able to do it, and I mean, if it weren't for Dustin Kleba, this could have been Ronnie Norman's night. Ronnie Norman coming forward only 3 positions tonight, but that's because he qualified so well. And Christian, I think you've had a chance to now catch up with Ronnie Norman.
Yeah, he's climbing out of the car. He's a little sore, so give him a minute here. But Ronnie, you finished 2nd. It seemed like a good run for you tonight. Kind of used strategy to get you into position. So tell us about those last few laps and how exciting they were and how your race went.
Yeah, no, really happy with another podium finish today after coming off the win last week in New Hampshire. Yeah, those last couple laps there, those were pretty sketchy. Definitely white knuckling the wheel. Hit the wall coming off of, I believe, 1, going down the back straightaway. Was not trying to. At that point, you're just kind of keeping your foot in it, and then whatever happens, besides knocking out the toe. But yeah, no, was able to use a little bit of strategy to get me up front, led some laps. Almost got a stage win. Unfortunately, Kleba took tires there and was able to get back up to the front and wasn't able to get held off long enough. So felt like I got really good stage points today, along with another good finish. And yeah, no, it was a fun race. Feel like after running Sunday and yesterday and today, I should know how to run this track by now. So all the practice is really starting to show here with these finishes. And yeah, no, couldn't be happier with the 2nd place tonight. Congrats to Kleba and Tom on 3rd. But yeah, no, it was a fun race, and just happy to be running up front and getting these good finishes because it feels really good.
Yeah, I thought there was a time that I thought maybe you could make those 3 winner stickers into 4, and I'd have to make that for you tomorrow. But not able to get it done. But 2nd place, bridesmaid, it's pretty good still. Now, I wanted to ask you about the strategy, being a good friend. Did you see me pull that last night and learn from me, possibly?
I honestly don't really know. I think at the time I knew I was 5 laps short, so I knew we were going to have to pit regardless. Like I said, if you did do it last night, my apologies. I don't really didn't really do it based off of that. But no, I just knew we needed to pit, so I was like, I might as well just go ahead and do it, get it over with. And then I knew that when that caution came out, everybody else was going to go in, and I was going to take over the lead. So it just kind of was one of those. It's like, hey, you know, it kind of worked out. So it's always nice to see something work out in a way, and almost got a stage win. But yeah, like I said, unfortunately, Cleveland got back up there. But yeah, no, can't say I based it off of you, but yeah, it's probably something like that.
I just wanted to try to inflate my ego. But congrats on second place. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go? I'm sure your fan club for one.
Right, yeah, no, shout out to FanDuel for being on the car, McAllister Reynolds of Columbus, Indiana, NOS Energy Drink. I want to thank Snyder Graphics for making my paint schemes for all my races that I run in. Shout out to my fan club out there in the chat. I think we got Jordan, Steven, Jake, Brooke. There's so many out there that watch along, and I really appreciate it. Thanks to VirtualRacing.Network for putting on these broadcasts for us. Love racing in them, love being in them. Thanks to Josh for putting on this league, and shout out to my team over in Discord for keeping us all in check throughout the race, and just thanks to everybody that watches these races. Thanks to everybody in the league. There's a lot of people to thank, but yeah, no, just hopefully we can keep it going. I know I got a big race next Tuesday. It'll be a birthday race, so hopefully we can put it into victory lane. I think I ran good there last time. We did the Richmond back in the spring, so yeah, hopefully we can do that, and we'll see what we can do.
Well, speaking of Richmond, how do you think that's going to go for you?
I mean, I was set up to win the last race, so unfortunately Josh got me on a choose cone, and he was able to inch out and get the lead, and I wasn't able to get back around him or get to him. So feeling pretty confident. I thought I was going to miss this race. Honestly, I was supposed to go on vacation, but some unfortunate circumstances happened at the house, and now I can't go anymore. So we'll be staying home next week and racing next week again, and so yeah, we'll be in here. Hopefully we can get the brake bias dialed in at Richmond, and like I said, we got three. I don't know, or do we got 3 races at it? I know we got Monday. I can't remember what Sunday was or not, but we'll have some more good practice to get us ready for Tuesday, and then yeah, we'll see if we can get another podium or hopefully put another 4th winner sticker on this car.
Yeah, 3 races at Richmond next week, and I'm sure you'll run all 3, so you'll be probably wore out come Wednesday morning. But again, congrats on 2nd place, Ronnie, and as always, good talking with you up here in the booth.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
All right, and Trevor, I believe you caught up with tonight's winner in that 16 machine, Dustin Kleba.
In fact, I did, and Kleba now joining us here in Victory Circle. Congratulations, Dustin. You add to your win trophies total here in the NORA Cup Series. What a fantastic way to do it. It was basically as dominant of fashion as you could possibly imagine at a track like this here in Pocono. You seem to have all the restarts in hand. Really, nobody could get up there and challenge you. Congratulations on an absolutely phenomenal win here in round number 24.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It felt good to lead a lot of laps, but man, it was a stressful one. It wasn't just run away. I felt like Nashville was a lot of green runs. We were able to just kind of control it, but this one was hard to get into a rhythm with all those cautions coming in there. Seemed like about the time I'd get my strategy figured out, another yellow would come out, and I'd be sitting there trying to do math while driving, and that's never a good thing in my part. But no, it was a fun race. A couple of times we had to come through traffic there. I know there's one time we got off sequence with tires, and we kind of had to make our way through there to get up there at the end of stage 2, and it was fun to come through traffic. There's a lot of guys that were racing hard but racing clean, so it was always fun to race around those guys.
Well, what was it like out there tonight on the track itself? It was a bit cooler temperatures than we've seen past couple of nights here on VirtualRacing.Network, but we noticed a lot of guys still having trouble getting loose off of the corners. Did you seem to be able to handle it okay? Did you find anything that was difficult for you tonight? Did you have to mitigate for anything on the track? Change your line, manage your tires, fuel, anything?
Yeah, it was really strange. It felt like the first 2 laps or so, really the first lap, it was just plowing tight. And then once temperatures came up, the second lap was a little bit more bearable, but you still had to focus on not getting on the throttle too early and pushing up into the wall. And then probably your third, fourth, fifth laps are going to be your fastest of the run. And then once you get to about 7, 8, 9, 10, that's when it starts to get a little loose. And if we would have ran a little bit longer, I think your line would have been dictated a little bit more. Just because I know in one it was a lot easier to keep the high side when you're loose, get the run off, and keep your speed down the stretch there. And with these long straightaways, it's so important to get a good run off the corner and kind of give up a little bit going into the corner. So that's what I tried to do, but luckily we had some short runs tonight, so we didn't really have to move around as much. Really, it was just kind of being patient those first 2 laps and then pushing really hard the next 2 laps. And then if we made it past that, just kind of being consistent, making sure you weren't sliding too much and burning off the rears. So just try and keep her straight, turn left, and go fast.
Well, you did that quite a lot tonight. Final question for me is, we were talking about fuel strategies tonight. Did that almost catch you out? And do you use the iRacing built-in auto fuel, or are you relying on some other method of getting your fuel strategy?
Oh gosh, I hate that thing. I absolutely hate it. I don't think you can call yourself an iRacer unless you've been hosed by that auto fueler at least one point in your career. I think it was Nashville, I probably got a win because people were running out of gas there because of that. So I try not to use it. I mean, I'll sometimes use it as like a guideline. Really, I almost got caught off guard at the end of stage 2 because I thought we could make it to the end of stage 2, and then I realized coming to pit opening that I was about 5 laps short. So that's when I dove into pit road with everybody else, and didn't even really have time to think about tire strategies. So that's when everybody unchecked their tires, and I just took 4 tires because I couldn't math right, and I couldn't figure out when I was going to run out of gas or not. Well, yeah, it just kind of depends on the race, on what I'm kind of relying on, and what I look into.
Well, what another, this was just an incredible win, and it seems like this seems to be the case. If you just hook up with the track, you're practically unstoppable out there. Who would you like to thank? And I'm sure it's going to begin with your teammate over there at KPR.
Yeah, Cody was able to hop on here late to help me spot. I was able to watch him last night. It helped a little bit to see what the draft was doing, see what lines were doing. They looked like they had a handful compared to what we had. So, but it was still good to watch him and see how the track changes and stuff. Obviously, got to thank my family out there watching. I know my buddy Garrett's out there watching. Just want to thank the field tonight too. I know, like I said, I had to come through the pack there a couple of times, and there's just a lot of good, clean racing. I know a couple of guys it was good to see up front. I know Brady was up front there for a good portion of the day. He deserves a good run. Cody Height, he was up there. Just a lot of good guys that deserve good runs. It was good to see him running up front. So thanks to everybody in the field for a good race. And of course, thanks to Josh and everybody else and all the admins that put this thing on and give me a chance to get away from life here for a little bit every Tuesday night.
Well, next week it's Richmond. Any final thoughts on Richmond?
Ugh. I'm not a fan. I haven't raced Richmond in these cars. I know in the Xfinity cars, I hated it because it was tight and it's super. You got to pull the brake so far back to get it to turn, and I'm sure these cars are similar. But we'll do our homework and we'll see what happens.
Well, there it is. Dustin Kleba pulling in the hardware, taking another victory here in NORA Cup Series, and he's already clinched his way into the playoffs and just a few more races to go, and you'll be there racing for the final championship. Congratulations on another great win, Dustin, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week here on VirtualRacing.Network on Tuesday night.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. You have a good night.
You too. So that is Dustin Kleba, your winner from Iowa City, Iowa for KPR Motorsports, driving a Ford. And Christian, this was another interesting race. It's amazing how all three of these races this week played out a bit differently, and yet a familiar name atop the board in the winner column here again tonight for the NORA Cup Series.
Yeah, it was kind of three different races throughout the week. You know, we had a pretty wreck-filled race at Icon, a lot of cautions and a lot of aggressive racing with a loose car. Then we saw the Truck Series have another, not as bad with cautions, but it was pretty filled up, and it was a hard truck to handle. And then this one, medium on cautions, and the car was actually easy to handle, which is a surprise to hear. I thought these would be a lot harder than the trucks, but these guys put on a heck of a show tonight, and I can't wait for 3 Richmond races in a row. I'm trying to say that with as straight of a face as I can, because I'm not looking forward to it.
Well, it's unfortunate that as much action as we're going to be seeing here coming up this next week might also go hand in hand with a bunch of yellow cloth hardware coming out, but we'll see. It'll be exciting nonetheless. It'll always be fun to watch a bull ring like that, watch these very skilled drivers be forced to have such close, tight racing. But we're looking forward to it here at VirtualRacing.Network. We sure hope you are too. If you're not already subscribed, well, it's so easy. You just click on that subscribe button, you hit the notification bell, click see all of the notifications, and you're all set. You're going to get the Icon Series here on Sunday night at 7:55 Eastern Time. And then, of course, Monday night will be the NORA Truck Series at 8:55 Eastern Time, and the NORA Cup Series Tuesday nights, 8:25 Eastern Time. We're winding down the NORA Truck and Cup Series. You won't want to miss the finale for the NORA Truck Series of the regular season at Richmond next week. It's going to be a barn burner, as everybody who could try to qualify for those playoffs is going to be trying to do so. So we'll see you again Sunday night. This has been a fun one from Pocono. We're looking forward to the triple header, and thank you so much for joining us on YouTube Live. Please make sure to mark your calendars and see you on Sunday night. On behalf of everybody here in the NORA Cup Series, including Josh Conover, Ronnie Norman, Nick Eilis, the admins, and all of the competitors, we'll see you again next week, the same time, for the NORA Cup Series, and of course, Sunday night as well. I'm Trevor Greenfield, on behalf of Christian Snyder, signing off. Have a wonderful rest of your week. So long, everybody.